Today let's see part B questions. Part B questions, in my previous video most of them they have inquired about reading for just. Let's see a small approach for that as well. But now let me start with reading for detailed question. Here they say like the guideline. This guideline extract says that the nurse in charge. So this is about nurse in charge, what she should do or he should do. So here if you check, option A must supervise what? Opening of the controlled drug cupboard, and should make sure, which means ensure that when you have like all some few, concentrate on that all ward cupboard keys are kept together. Then can delegate responsibility for the cupboard keys to another ward. So can delegate to another ward. So these information should be checked properly. So in the particular paragraph, if you see must supervise, is there anywhere they have mentioned about opening? If I check here, I couldn't see anything about opening, so this is not given. Next, should make sure that all ward cupboard keys. So is there anywhere they have mentioned about the cupboard keys? It's here. The controlled drug cupboard keys should be kept separately from the main body of keys. So it's not like all should be kept together, it should be separated, right? So this word makes the option B invalid. So C, can delegate to another ward. It is in the last line. If necessary, the nurse in charge should arrange for the keys to be held in a neighboring ward or department by the nurse in charge there. So this states that the nurse in charge can delegate. So this is the right option. So what I did, basically I have marked my keywords and I have coded in the paragraph where it is, and C option matches, and thereby I go with answer C. Now for question number 2, when seeking consent, so it is mainly like a condition, right? When seeking a consent for a postmortem examination, it is necessary to means you should, right? Give a valid reason, whether it is about the reasoning part. Allow all relatives the opportunity to decline it. I said already, if you have all few, please check on that purpose whether it is there or no. To decline it, only, this is also important. Only means it should be like one and only. So is this mentioned only rise the subject after the death? Okay, so did they mention like after death? So this question is reading for detail. So let me check like where they are seeking consent and what it is necessary. If you see this paragraph, should raise the possibility of a postmortem examination with the most appropriate person to give consent. The person consenting will need, this is necessary to, give an explanation of the reasons for the postmortem examination and what it hopes to achieve. So this line states that it is necessary to give a valid reason. So this is right. Now I want to check whether other options are there. Allow all relatives the opportunity to decline it. Did I mention about relatives somewhere? Yes, many relatives, it's not all, are more prepared for, they just said like prepared, they never said declined, okay, for the consenting procedure if they have had time to think about it beforehand. They just mentioned about thinking beforehand, they never said about declining. They can decline or accept. So B option is partial. Only rise the subject after death has occurred. Is there anywhere they mention about death? Here, as there is no need to wait until the patient has died. So no need to wait, which means this option is wrong. Only rise the subject after death has occurred, which is wrong. So I go with option A. Now question number 3. This is purpose question. So this is reading for gist. Okay. The question is the purpose of these notes. The purpose of these notes about an incinerator is to. So mainly it is about an incinerator. So what I will do is I will give you an approach. First, preview what it has been given here. So if you check here, the topic is low cost incinerator general operating notes. So they mentioned here low cost and they are talking only about the operating notes. Okay, so you have checked what it is given as a subject. Also check the option maximize its efficiency. Okay, and give guidance on safety procedures, recommend a procedure for waste separation. So the one is about helping to maximize its efficiency. Second, give guidance for safety procedures, recommend a procedure for waste separation. So whatever I need to concentrate, I just underline the keyword. Now my preview is over. Next, question yourself with what you know already. Basically, an incinerator is something like a machine to burn waste, right? So maybe what will be the aim of this note to talk about an incinerator, and the topic is low cost and general operating notes. So about an incinerator, whether a low cost incinerator will help maximize or will it give guidance or recommend a procedure. So machine can maximize its efficiency through some procedures. So with my knowledge what I have already, I predict my answer as A. Okay, this is my prediction only. Now I need to code the answers in the paragraph. Okay, so help maximize its efficiencies anywhere this is stated. Okay, so mainly as I told you, what I know about incinerator, it's a machine that burns waste at high temperature. So when you see the first line, materials with high fuel values such as plastic, paper, card, dry textile will help maintain high incineration temperature. Okay, if possible. So if possible is conditional, a good mix of waste materials should be added with each batch. So they are asking or they are trying to convey a way that you can maintain high temperature in order to burn the waste. So whatever they are suggesting here, which is an added measure to maintain this temperature, this can be best achieved by having a various types of waste material loaded into separate bags at source. So they are giving like another way how this waste materials, whatever they have mentioned here, can be loaded separately. Okay, and clearly labeled. It is not recommended that the operator sorts and mixes waste prior to incineration, as this is potentially hazardous. So it is not recommended for the operator. When you label this, because most of my students they say like because of this line I went for option B. They already mentioned like not recommended. So do you think it is a recommendation as a procedure, or are you giving a guidance for a safety procedure that is because of potentially hazardous? Both are there in this line, so I cannot go for B and C. If possible, some plastic material should be added with each batch. So they mention here burns at high temperature again. So whatever they have mentioned here as suggestion or recommendation is mainly to help maintaining high temperature in order to burn waste, right? However, care and judgment should be taken. So here these 2 points will help the main point that it helps in maximizing its efficiency instead of going for safety procedure and waste separation. So by this way you can understand that summarizing to main point instead of going for subordinate points. So B and C is given option, but that cannot be the answer, because at the end it is helping to maintain high temperature in order to burn waste. So mainly this supports option A. So always for reading for this question, preview your subject, that what it is given, and try to analyze what you know already about the topic. Check your option, question yourself which one goes better, predict that answer, and try to code that in your paragraph whether it is given or not. Don't choose subordinate answers, go for the main, okay, like summarizing or in conclusion what you can derive. So this goes with option A instead of B and C. Okay, now going for question number 4. Again this is tells us. So if you see like tells us, informs us, this is reading for gist. So again I will follow the same: preview, question, predict, and then code. Okay, now if you see this, first option is, let me preview it: manual extract spacer devices for asthma patients. So it is mainly about the spacer devices. If you see A, B, C option, patient should try out a number of devices. So try out number of devices, this is my keyword. They enable a patient to receive more of prescribed medicine. So mainly it helps to receive more prescribed medicine. Then children should be given spacers which are smaller than those for adults. So they mention like smaller, okay, for children. I just previewed. Now let me question it. Mainly this is about spacer devices, and the topic says only like generally asthma patient, not about the children. So I eliminate this. Now A and B, I have to check whether it is about A and B. To predict, they enable a patient. They enable patient is mainly they are talking about spacer devices that helps to receive more prescribed medicine, rather than patient should try out number of devices. This is for choosing. So when general as main idea, if I could choose, I will go with B instead of A. This is my prediction. Now I need to code whether these information, the keywords which I have underlined, whether it is there or not. Patient should try out a number of devices. So when they say number of devices, let me see if there is anything given like that. Spacer devices remove the need for coordination between actuation of the pressurized meter dose inhaler and inhalation. In addition, the device allows more time for evaporation of the propellant, so that a larger proportion of the particles can be inhaled and deposited in lungs. So here this line, it states larger portion of the particles can be inhaled. So this is, they enable a patient to receive more of the prescribed medicine. More of the prescribed medicine is what given here, like larger portion of the particles can be inhaled. So option B is given. Now spacer devices are particularly useful for patients with a poor inhalation technique. For children, they mention children, but for patients requiring higher doses, they didn't mention about the size. Here the size of the spacer is important. The larger spacers with the one bay wall being most effective. They just talk about effectiveness, but they didn't mention children should be given spacers that are smaller than those of adults. So this is not given option. It is important to prescribe a spacer device that is compatible with the meter dose inhaler. So instead of trying out a number of devices, they said like spacer device that is compatible with. So it is only about the compatibility. So this is wrong. So now I will choose my answer as B. Okay. Now, okay. Fifth question, email, right? The email is reminding staff that. So this is mainly about reminding whenever you have like email or memo question, check the subject. This is mainly for usage of or use of bed rails, right? So here I have benefits. Number of bed rail related accidents has reached unaccepted levels. Okay. Patient's condition should be central to any decision about the. Okay, I have to consider patient condition. Okay, usually when we write any email, subject matters, right? So for example, if we are writing like uh, email for sick leave or something, we used to add the subject like sick leave, right? So subject says what will be the content of the email. So here use of bed rails is mainly talking about benefits or use. So I predict this must be the answer, but let me check. Did I mention my keywords in the paragraph? Okay, so when I check here, patient in hospital may be at risk of falling from bed for many reasons, including poor mobility, dementia or delirium, visual impairment, or effects of treatment or medication. Bed rails can be used as safety devices intended. So here they are talking about the use, can be used as a safety devices. Okay, so they talk about risk factor first, and then they mention bed rails can be used for that. However, when they say however, something opposite to what they have said, they must mention here. Bed rails aren't appropriate for all patients. Their use involved risk. So here they are contradicting as well to state that use involves risk. National data suggest about 1,250 patients injure themselves on bed rails annually, usually scraps and bruises to their lower legs. Statistics show, okay, resulting in 11 deaths, while deaths due to bed rail entrapment occur less than one. Okay, it's very less than one every 2 years, and are avoidable as well. So this unacceptable levels, it is wrong. It can be avoidable, right? So I cannot go with unacceptable levels. Patient's condition should be central to any decision about the use. Staff should continue to take good care. Okay, here also they didn't mention about patient's condition should be central to any decision. So here also they haven't mentioned anything about it. So this is again not mentioned. So I will go with A. With this line, bed rails can be used as safety devices intended to reduce risk, and whatever they have stated here, which is also avoidable. So I will go with A instead of B and C, because unacceptable level, which is wrong because it is avoidable. C is central to any decision, which is also not given. So I will go with option A instead of B and C. Now sixth question, what does this extract from a handbook tells us? So again tells us it is for gist, right? So it is about analeptic drugs. So preview, I don't have much about the topic here because it is also analeptic drugs. Let me check on the options. Let me check the options. They may be useful for patients who are not fully responsive, which is important, because when if you think about analeptic drugs, mainly it is CNS stimulants and for contradicting sedative. So which means this goes with who are not fully responsive. So this is my prediction. Injection of these drugs will limit the need of check. Will limit means there is less need for physiotherapy. Care should be taken if they are used over an extended period. So did they mention anything about extended period? So preview I have done for my option, and question yourself I have questioned myself about analeptic drugs, and that goes with the option A, and that is my prediction. Now prediction is already done. I have to code whether it is given or no. So is there anywhere they have mentioned about not fully responsive? So here they have mentioned, however, occasionally when ventilatory support is contradicted and in patients with hypercapnic respiratory failure who are becoming drowsy and respiratory stimulants in the short term may arouse patients sufficiently to cooperate and clear their section. So this drowsy or comatose is what? Not fully responsive. Next, B. Injections of these drugs will limit the need for physiotherapy. I need to check physiotherapy is mentioned or no. Yes, it is mentioned here. They should be only given under expert supervision in hospital and must be combined with active physiotherapy. So must be combined. So they mentioned like combined with, not limit. Okay. Care should be taken if they are used over an extended period. Okay, next, there is no oral respiratory stimulant available for long term use. So when they say no respiratory stimulant available, which means it is not available, so care should be taken is wrong. So this is wrong, and this is also wrong. So I will go with option A, that is they may be useful for patients who are not fully responsive. So now I think you are clear with the gist based question how to approach. Mainly you need to preview the subject of the subject or topic of the paragraph, and then you have to check your options, question yourself with the knowledge what you have, predict the answer, and with your keywords code it where it is there or it is not there. With that you can eliminate and point out your answer. So this is how the gist question should be approached. I hope it is clear. Thank you.